Hello, this is Father Michael Nasser here from St. Nicholas Orthodox Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with this week's Midweek Reflection. And again, the screen might look off to you. I'm in the dark a little bit because I wanted you to be able to see out the window, so I had to change the brightness and the contrast on the camera because I wanted you to see the weather. Because I want to reflect, as I often do, on the weather, because there's so much I think we can learn about the world that God has designed that is going on all around us in very dynamic ways. And what you're seeing out the window is a snowstorm. And what I want to talk about is the fact that this storm has been predicted for a couple days now. And as we got closer and closer, the prediction when I went to bed last night was it was going to start snowing at 4 a.m. this morning, and that it was going to snow all the way through till tomorrow morning about 7 a.m. And when I got up, there was nothing on the ground. Now, granted, it's snowing now. Why I'm talking about this is I love the fact that two things I love. I love the fact that we can predict weather pretty well. But more than that, what I really love is the fact that we cannot predict the weather very well. What you may or may not know is that there are some of the world's biggest computers are all constantly taking in data. And what they're taking in is weather patterns all around the world, and they're comparing them to predictions. And at every microsecond of every second of every minute of every day, we are gathering data and getting better and better and better at predicting the weather because computation tells us, okay, this is what we thought was going to happen. This is what was going on. This is what ended up happening. So now we know sort of better. And this happens literally microsecond by microsecond. And yet, somehow between like midnight last night when like it was 4 hours away from supposedly storm coming and snow starting, nothing. Now, this may continue on. Right now it's getting kind of bad out there. They say the roads are getting bad, but it may not. We don't know. What I love about that is this: for all of our human accomplishment, we still can't predict weather 4 hours away. And I love that. Yes, it's convenient to be able to get the prediction right. I know we complain when they get it wrong. But I love the fact why it shows us that we are not as knowledgeable and expert and in control of understanding things as we think. There's been a phrase going around for the last couple of years more than before, which was just follow the science, stick with the science. Well, what are we learning is that even science doesn't always agree with science. You got scientists on both sides of every issue, from weather to climate to coronavirus to everything. I'm not saying science isn't valuable. I'm not saying it isn't something that God has given us. He has given us the intelligence to understand the world little by little, more and more. And yet, just when we think like, okay, we got it now, thank you, God, we're not sure you're there anymore, we're okay though, we got this, because we know science, we know things, we got our mega computers, we can't even predict a stinking snowstorm 4 hours away. My brothers and sisters, we need to stay humble before our God and say, you know what? We do our best. We use our God-given brains for what we can, and we study, and science is wonderful, but it's nothing compared to the knowledge that God is God and we are not. When we can't even predict weather a few hours out, that should give us a little more humility to stand before God and say, yeah, we're not you. We don't know what you know. We don't think what you think. We don't understand what you understand. And in that humility, appreciate the love of our God and grow in our love and trust in Him, rather what we normally do, which is grow in love and trust of ourselves and say, we got this. So I just love the fact when we get weather predictions wrong. So we sometimes get them right and sometimes get them completely wrong. Sometimes we get it all the way right, but rarely. And that's a good reminder for all of us. Only God knows. I love that phrase. We used to say all the time, God only knows. Only it's actually true. God only knows. God is the only one that knows what is happening, why it's happening, what's going to happen. And we need to really think more and more about accepting that, acknowledging it, and living in the peace and contentment that only comes when we realize that only God knows. So God bless you. I hope you're somewhere safe and warm, wherever you are on this snowy day here in West Michigan. And God willing, we'll see you in next week's video.